So inside this lib folder, I'll create a new folder and I'll call it services. And inside this services folder, I'll create a new file and we'll call it Firebase storage service.dart. Okay, now over here we'll create a class, and class name is Firebase storage service, this one, and it will extend service. Now what service? It will extend actually Getx service, since we are using Getx. Now at the same time we need to import the libraries, so first we'll import the get. Alright, and then we are good to go. Now right inside this we'll create a method because we want to get the image from the Firebase. Now if you want to get the image from the Firebase, you have to pass the name. The name should be string, so that's what we are passing. And over here first we'll check if the name is empty or not. If the image name is null, then we're going to return null. Okay, all right. Now we need to go ahead and get a reference of Firebase storage, but before that actually we need to install the plugin. So let's go ahead and install the plugin. So here we would do Firebase storage. Let's see what we get, and I think it got one. And trying to run it, we may need to wait, and it's getting it now, and I guess we are done. If it's so, then we'll go ahead and check our pub spec file. We'll see, okay, it's been installed, the latest version, I guess. So this has been done. Now after this we'll get a reference from Firebase storage. The reference type would be reference, and we'll create a getter, and we'll return a variable over here, and we'll call it Firebase storage, since we are doing a getter. And then we have to get Firebase storage dot instance dot ref. Now of course we need to import the packages. Let's see if it recognizes or not. It doesn't. So if it doesn't, we'll manually import it. So here is this package and its reference. So now it's working. Now here we'll get the image URL because we are giving the image name, and based on that image name we'll see if we have an image or not. So here we'll use a try clause, and if things go wrong we'll fall into exception. So here we do catch, and right after this we'll just return null. Okay, now inside this try clause we'll try to get the image URL. And how to get it? To get that, first we created this storage over here, storage object. Okay, so from this one we can access child. Actually you can see child property. Now child property, it takes the path, so we need to give it a path. Now we need to give it the path. The path name is the folder path. Now the folder path is the path that we created early. So let's see, so this is the folder name is question paper images, so this one. So we'll go ahead and write that one. Here we do question paper images. Okay, now that's the part of the path, but we need to do more. So here we do another child. Now here actually we'll apply the actual image name. Okay, now image name is coming from here. Actually we are giving the image name. Okay, now because this is inside a variable and object, so we need to use this one. So here we would do img name, and then we would do get, oh sorry, not get. So here we would do to lowercase, so we'd convert it to lowercase. And then over here, because all of our images in PNG format, so that's what we are doing. And right after this we'll return. So over here we will get the folder name and the image name together, and then we'll save it to a variable and we'll call it URL ref. And after that we can just return the download path. So this is our folder name and this is the image name, but Firebase is more complex. But all you need to do, you need to apply or give it the folder name and image name, and after that you'll just return like this, await url ref dot get download URL. So this is the built-in function inside Firebase, so we don't need to worry about that one. I mean Firebase storage. And of course this is the actual path. Now we also need to save it, so I would call it img URL, save inside this, and then we'll just return, okay, return img URL. Now here because we are using await, so we need to work on this async. So we need to put here async, otherwise we'll get error async. Okay, now error should be gone. Now what are we returning here? Actually over here we are returning a string, as you see. So we need to do a string return, but because this is await, so we need to wrap the string type inside a future. So here we do string, but actually we can return it inside, we can wrap it around inside future object, and over here we would do string. But now the string could be null, because as you see over here, if we have an error, so we return null, otherwise we will return the image URL. Now with this you are pretty much set up how to load images from Firebase. But now this is Firebase storage. Now with this you are pretty much set up how to load images from Firebase storage. But now we need to go ahead and display them. Now to be able to do that, we need to create a new file. Now inside this screens folder, I'll create a new folder and I'll call it home. Okay. Now inside this home, I'll create a new file and we'll call it home screen.dart. Now here I'm going to create a stateless class and we'll call it home screen. All right, and right inside this we'll return a scaffold. Okay, we might need to import libraries. Okay, now for the body itself, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and return a list view. Okay, list view. All right, now we are going to return this one, list view dot separated. So all right, here we are, and this is the place, this is the home screen where we want to show our image. Remember, we are loading images using a service which is called Getx service, and we are loading it over here and returning as a string. But because this is a service, so we need to get this string, this string over here in a controller, but we don't have the controller. So now we'll go ahead and create a new controller. So we'll come inside this controller folder which we have over here, and inside this question paper, right inside this, we'll create a new controller and we'll call it quiz paper controller or question paper controller, question paper controller .dart. Okay, and here we'll create a new class and the class name is question paper controller, this one, and over here it will extend Getx controller. We're going to have to import it manually, so let's do that. Import get dart. Okay, all right, and here we have a typo, so let's fix that. So once again over here we'll override a method, and the method name is onReady method, which we have seen before. So here we'll do onReady, so void onReady, and we know it gets called really actually immediately after everything gets boot up. Now over here we need to override super.onReady. Great. Now over here we'll create a new method, and the method name is get all papers. Okay, so here we do get all papers. Okay, now here inside this, first we'll create a list of papers name, but we'll tag them as image name. So here we do list, and here inside this we'll have string type, and here we do img name, and actually this name would be correlate to the files that we have uploaded in the Firebase. Okay, so here I'll declare a list, and now each of them here I'll have biology, and then I'll have chemistry, then I'll have math, and then I'll have physics. Okay, so this is the list of string here, but as image name, because these names are stored in the Firebase backend. So I'm sending this image, I'll send this image to the Firebase backend. Now inside this, I'll have a try clause. And once again, here I'll have a catch for catching exception. Now, inside this, over here, I will just simply, well, we can print something, print E, which means stands for error. But anyway, now inside this try clause, we'll run a for loop, okay? So here we do for, and I could name the variable as paper inside this in img name, or actually I would say img in img name. That sounds better. So we'll loop through whatever is here, and now we'll call the method that we have created over here as getImage. So let me close this window, we don't need that. So we'll call this method getImage, and at the same time we'll pass the image name, and image name would be going from here in this for loop. So here we do get.find. Now, because that's also a controller, which is Getx service, so here we do Firebase storage service, this one, okay, and then we'll do get image name. Now over here inside this, we need to pass this image name. So here, each time as we loop through, each of the image name would be saved in this variable, okay? All right. Now here, because this is an asynchronous operation, as you see, it returns the future. So here we need to do await, okay? But now we need to save this information every time we get the complete path of image. We need to save it to a variable, okay? Now here we'll declare a list. Actually, we could do it at the top over here. So here we do final all paper images, like that, okay? Now inside this, we'll save string type variable because we're returning a string as the image path, okay? Now here that would be a list, so our list would hold string type, and it is also OBS type since we are using Getx, because this would be reactive, so this list would be reactive, okay? All right, now as we do that, over here, first we'll save it in a variable and we'll just call it img URL, okay? All right, and I guess we need to tag async. Let's do that. Yes, right over here. Okay, so we pass whatever the name is here, and we get that name in a loop one by one, and we pass it there, and based on this name, it gets the complete image path from Firebase, and then it returns to this variable. Now, as it does, actually, what we can do, we can add it to our list. Okay, so the all paper images is a list. Now here, that's what we do. Now here, we need to make sure that this is not empty, because what it returns over here, this could return something like null. Okay, yeah, like that. So we are telling that, okay, we won't get null. All right, so now with this variable over here, this would have all this. So this variable eventually have all the image path, which means that that would be as a string, which also means that if we can look through this one later, we'll have the complete image path name from the Firebase, and we'll be able to view them. Now this is the time to go ahead and call it. So we'll call it from here. Okay, perfect. And over here, we can also define something like this, future void, because we are not returning anything. All right, now with this, it makes it nice. Okay, so we are pretty much done over here. Now we'd come to our home screen over here, and over here, we need to make a lot of changes. While the first thing we want to do, so we want to get a reference of this controller over here. Okay, so this is the controller. We want to get a reference of this one. So here, what are you going to do? We can write here question paper controller, and here we would say question paper controller. Okay, and we'll just simply do get.find. So it would return us the controller and save the controller instance in this variable. Great. So right after this, here we would do, well, item builder. Now item builder would take build context, and over here we would do int index. Okay, and after that we are going to return. Right, so that's part of it. And over here we also have item count, so we will use this one over here. And we know that using this we can refer to all, I guess, what do we have here? Let's see. So all paper images, which is this one. So we'll access that one from here. And then we'll also do length, so we get the length. Now what about this one? Now this one, the same as build context, the one we did earlier over here. And right inside this we can just simply return a sized box. And here we do height, say height equal, we could do 20. All right, and then our error is gone. Now definitely inside this we also need to return something. Before we go ahead and return, I think we need a const over here, otherwise it would be cranky. Okay, great, and then we have to return. All right, so now we'll come over here. Now inside this we are going to return something. Now we're going to return a clip r rect. Okay, now of course this will have a child. Okay, all right, that's VS Code, little cranky all the time. Now inside this we'll have sized box as a child, so we do child sized box. Now for now we are going to set height and width for it actually. So here we do height 200 and width say 200. Now after that we'll have a child for it, and let's go ahead and do child. And now inside this we are going to use fade image widget. Okay, now fade image, the good part about it that if your image is too large, fade image widget helps you to wait and show something different. Of course, I think we have a typo over here. We need to do fade in image. Okay, now it takes some properties. Well, the first property we could set over here as image property, and it'll take a network image. We can say it over here, network image. Now inside this network image we need to send the image URL, so we can access the image URL. So here we do question paper controller dot all papers images, and then we just simply do index over here. Now index would look through it and take each of them and send it to this one. Okay, all right. Now this is another option, that another property that we need to fill. This is called placeholder, this one. Now placeholder is to show the images from your asset folder. As the network images are being loaded, first it will show you something that's in your local folder, otherwise your screen might be white or empty. So here we do asset image. Now our images are coming from assets images folder, and we know that we have an app splash logo.png. Okay, all right, now we're gonna save it, and after saving it, let's see if we could run our app or not. Okay, so now we're going to run our app. So I'll restart everything from the scratch, and looks like it started. Alright, so now I'll open up the terminal to see if we have any error or not. So here is our debug console. Okay, so far everything is great. Now as I'm going to click on this, I'm expecting to go to a new page. Which page? Home screen page, the one that we built over here. Now let's click on this and see what happens. Now it does look like that it says that this controller has not been found. Okay, so which means that we didn't inject the controller. Okay, so we need to find a way to inject it, because we just created this controller but we didn't inject it. Now what happened over here, if you see home screen, we are trying to use it over here, but actually we didn't inject it. Now to be able to inject it, we can actually find our routes file. So let's see this one over here. Now inside this, after this, so we can use a property which is called binding, and inside this we can use binding builder. Let's see, binding builder, bindings builder actually. Okay, and right inside this we could do like this. So here we could do get.put, and inside this we would do question paper controller, and you are good to go. Now let's save it. Actually, we need to do a semicolon over here. Now let's save it. Okay, so we restarted our app, and this time everything went smoothly. So now I'm going to click on this and we'll see what happens. Now, of course, we don't have any error. Now, why we don't see anything? Well, to know why we don't see anything, let's find our home screen over here. So what happens, you have to know that this question paper controller, it loads images in this one. Now this images actually comes from this Firebase over here. Now this page only gets called when you click on this link over here, when you click on this button, the button we had earlier, this one. So when you click on this, then actually this gets triggered, okay, and then it loads things. But it actually loads the thing, but after loading, our UI doesn't know that images are there. It means images path are there. So we need to tell a way to the UI that, hey, our images has been loaded, so you go ahead and display them. Now to be able to do that, actually we can simply wrap this list view builder using OBX. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it from here. So I'm going to cut it from here, and first I'm going to use OBX over here, and OBX inside this I'm going to return using a single fat arrow function, and then I'll put my list view inside this. So with this, because OBX is coming from Getx, so right now my UI became reactive with this. So UI would know if there are any changes in my variables. Okay, now this all papers, as you know, that it is OBS type. Okay, now I wrapped this widget around OBX, so my UI know, okay, this variable has changed. So let's see if we can redraw something on the screen. Okay, now this time we're gonna go ahead and restart our app one more time. Now here we are, and we want to see if we get images or not. Now here, this is our first logo that you have seen, and these are the 4 images that we had in our Firebase backend. So let's go ahead and check with the Firebase backend. So these are the 4 images. This is the biology image, the one we have, and this is the first one. And over here we have this chemistry image, which is the second one. So yeah, congratulations. So far we have made a long way and did everything smoothly, and congratulations for that one. Okay, so that means now we know how to load images from Firebase and display on your UI.